contrary to the belief of those who think that Eshu is peculiar to Yoruba theology, I want to prove that it is not true. The same personality is called Agu or Ekwensu in Igbo theology. And so Eshu is an international personality. If you look at Satan in the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 6 to 12, you will realize that Ajayi Crowther, Samuel Ajayi Crowther, who interpreted Satan as Eshu, is absolutely correct. Go to Job chapter 1, verse 6 to 12, and look at who Satan is. One of the children of God and a messenger of God. So that is one of the, that Eshu is one of the divinities in Yoruba theology. Correspond to that, because Satan in the book of Job, being one of the children of God, correspond to Eshu being one of the divinities in Yoruba theology. And his personality is also such that you can invoke Eshu for both good and evil. So the role that Satan plays in the book of Job corresponds to the Yoruba understanding of Eshu as Asheburuku Sherere, one who is capable of doing both good and evil. So as a child of God in Job, Satan and God conversed as between father and child, or servant and master. What Satan did to Job, you may see it as evil, and you are right, but did he do it by himself or as a prompting by God himself, who said, okay, I give you the permission to go and put him to test, but don't touch his person. So, and you think that Eshu, Lalu, Laroye is pure light without darkness? Even God himself in Isaiah 45 verse 7 says, I create light and I create darkness. I create favor and calamity. Go and read it. That is God himself for you. So where do you see Eshu, who is pure goodness? When God created a garden at Eden, he planted the fruit of both good and evil. Here now you have a Professor Wande Abimbola claiming that there is no personality called devil in Yoruba literature. How come? I have challenged him in another video to the fact that what you call Emibi, spirit of evil. When some people say it is the work of the devil, Ishe, you laugh it off. But the reality is that if Eshu should do you, you'll be surprised. If Eshu has never done you, I mean, who among us has never done something and wondering why he or she did it, what he or she would ordinarily not have done? There is a biblical passage in which Saint Paul is saying that the good things I want to do, I find myself not doing it. The evil that I don't want to do, I find myself doing it. That is the spirit of evil. So for you now to deny that in Yoruba land or in Yoruba literature, there's nobody called the devil. No, it's an eternal principle. And when God planted the garden at Eden, it is clear he planted both. And so the Yoruba people say, Tibi tire ladale aye. The world was created good and evil. So how do you then call? So it is in Yoruba literature. Professor Wande Abimbola and those who believe otherwise is in Yoruba literature. It's international too. It's internationally understood that an evil spirit can possess you and you do what you would rather not do. So we may laugh it off. I know that it's not an excuse, but it's true. The evil spirit is true. The devil is a reality. Aha. And God himself says is capable of both good and evil. Aha. And the Yoruba call him Ajayi tó wù bí Olódùmarè. Aha. That God does what he likes. There is a psalm to the effect that our God is in heaven, whatever he wills, he does. It's not what the Yoruba talk when they say Ajayi tó wù bí Olódùmarè. God does what he likes. Our God is in heaven, whatever he wills, he does. And before you start to think that the Yoruba picked it from the Bible, no. They say tó bá ṣòjò aṣọ̀dá àṣekan bí òtútù àṣekan amú bí ọyẹ́. That means God is capable of turning weather into hot or cold. So there's a further explanation to it so that you don't think they pick it from the Bible. No, they give explanation that he does coldness, he does hotness, that he does what he like. He can make rain to fall, he can stop rain from falling. So that is their understanding of God, that is responsible for both light and darkness. So where do you get your own world in which the devil does not exist or evil spirit does not exist? Maybe spirit of evil, or is that English? So who originated Eshu is not the biblical Satan. Eshu is biblical Satan if book of Job is part of the Bible. Eshu as the devil, because it's an ambiguous term. When you say Eshu, you can mean the divinity or you can mean spirit of evil. They are both called Eshu. That's the ambiguity. Mixed by, including Professor Wole Soyinka trying to say that Eshu is not devil, or that Eshu is not the biblical Satan. What type of thing is that? You see, our brains, old and young, has been corrupted with Western education, Christianity, and Islam. And we are so confused, including Professor Wande Abimbola, denying that Eshu is not the devil, or that even that the devil does not exist in Yoruba theology. How come? How come? Who are the Yoruba? Are they special people? So, and let me say this. Samuel Ajayi Crowther was not born a Christian. He grew up in traditional Yoruba society in the rural Oke-Ogun, where I also come from. So he knows what they call Eshu. You are not the one to tell him. He was born in 1809 in the 19th century and died in 1891. As old as Professor Wande Abimbola is, he was born in 1932. Wole Soyinka, 1934. Look at when Samuel Ajayi Crowther lived, 1809 to 1891. You see it in the preceding century. So who is Baba? Who is Baba? Who are we to ask Baba? What does it mean? It is Ajayi Crowther we have to ask now. And let me tell you, Ajayi Crowther was born into the same culture into which I was born in 1956. The same culture. Because I was not born into Christianity or Islam or Western education. I was converted into Christianity, then went to, in fact, through Western education. So all of these are what Wande Bola and Soyinka and others in study of religion claiming that Eshu is not Satan. They now know Eshu better than Samuel Ajayi Crowther. You know? So, and now let me tell you, Eshu is ambiguous. It can mean both the divinity and spirit of evil. It's called Eshu. In the same way that Ogun can mean mercy or magic. It's as ambiguous as that. So when you say Ogun, you have to clarify. Do you mean Ogun Iwosan, mercy, or the mystical power? They are both called Ogun. So Eshu is both represent the divinity and spirit of evil. There are no two ways about it. So all this Eshu is not Satan. Eshu is not biblical Satan. And when you say Eshu is not biblical Satan, which biblical Satan? Because the book of Job, which corresponds to the Eshu in Yoruba understanding in one aspect, and also correspond to the Satan that is regarded as devil in Christo-Islamic scriptures. The Christian New Testament is different from the Jewish scripture called Old Testament by Christians. So for the Jews, their Satan is a child of God who was also sent to test Job. And that is the Yoruba Eshu. Is conceived as capable of both good and evil. So when you say Eshu, you mean one of two things. When you say Satan, you also mean one of two things. Are you talking of Satan in Judaism or Satan in Christianity and Islam, where Satan is pure devil? But for the Jews, it's not. But you must know that these are latter-day religions. Christianity and Islam are latter-day religions. They are historical creations, political, economic religions. You see it? They are political religions. They are looking for people. They want to, in fact, control the whole world. And economically, they are also dominant. They milk people of their earnings in the name of God. So, what are you talking about? When they regard Satan as pure devil in their own scriptures, the Yoruba people have no other name for the devil than Eshu. So where did you get your own theology that you are now saying Eshu is not Satan? Which Satan? Are you talking of, if you talk of the Jewish Satan, that's Eshu for Yoruba translation as correctly put by Samuel Ajayi Crowther. When you talk of Eshu as the devil in Christian and Islamic scripture, that also corresponds to Eshu, because the Yoruba people call the devil Eshu. It's an ambiguous term, as I've said. So let us stop confusing ourselves. None of us is as old as Samuel Ajayi Crowther in Yoruba traditional theology. I'm as old as Ajayi Crowther in Yoruba traditional theology because I was born into the same culture into which he was born before being converted to Christianity. And I don't see how it's wrong. Is it about Eshu taposi, kale riran wo taposi? That means Eshu put oil in the fire so that it can burn in the enmity between two people that we don't like. So we want the two of them to set themselves ablaze. So we ask Eshu to put oil. It's a traditional song. It's not coming from Christianity or Islam. You think that Nirogun Eshu is a Christian language? It's not. That's the truth of the matter. It's not. Nirogun Eshu. And you know, traditionally, because you have lost the sense of tradition, because you are not even born into the culture as Ajayi Crowther and myself are born into the culture. Baba Eshuniyi in Oyo was explaining it. He explained it. They don't want to listen. They want to stick to Eshu is biblical Satan. No, it's not biblical Satan. Which biblical Satan? Because there are two Satans in the Bible, the Jewish Satan and the Christian Satan. So which one? And for both of them, Yoruba has no other word or term than issue, because it's ambiguous. As in the same way that Ogun and some other terms like that are ambiguous. So let us stop that nonsense. None of us is as old as Ajayi Crowther, who gave it the country. But coincidentally, I happen to be born into that very same culture, and I know what they call issue. And it's not just monolithic. No, it's ambiguous. And that is not peculiar to Yoruba land. Go to Igbo land, for instance, that I know very well. They call him Hagu or Ekwensu. Other people will have their own, as the Jews have Satan, which correspond to our own issue. And biblically, the Jewish Satan is our own Ishulalu, Ishularoye, who God can use for both good and evil, as we understand it in the original Yoruba tradition. Or the devil, as Christians and the Muslims interpret Satan. We have no other name for the devil than issue. I don't know what led to Professor Wande Abimbola saying that there is no the word devil in Yoruba literature. Devil is not a Yoruba word. We have to look for what the Yoruba call devil, and that is issue.